Hi there, Nancy.
Hi, Christine. How are you?
I'm fine. Are you still in Cambridge?
I am in Reading now, and I'll be
Oh,
heading home after lunch.
okay. Are you visiting your kids or?
I saw my kids, and I am visiting a close friend right now, and she's kind enough to let me have my Wellfleet Zoom meeting, attend my Wellfleet Zoom meeting here in her dining room.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I went out on a walk. I did one yesterday, and then there was one at 2 a.m. at Cornhill Beach.
Oh my gosh, did you go
And
to that one?
yeah, and it was so windy. I mean, it felt like it was 30. Like it was really hard to walk. And then when I
Yeah.
got down to the jetty, just as I came out to the point where the dunes don't shield you at all, the
Yeah.
wind knocked me over onto a jetty rock.
Oh
So I've
no.
got this
Wow.
like bruise up here, and my thumb got bashed, and my knee hurts. But
Oh
anyway,
wow.
I know
Yeah,
it was
it was very windy
yeah.
last night up here, and I thought, oh, what is it like in Wellfleet if it's feeling this windy
It
here?
was really windy.
Wow. Did you find any turtles?
Nope. It's the Kemp Ridley season is pretty much over. Let me let Carrie in here. And so it's more loggerhead season, but there aren't as many of those. So it's really just,
Okay.
yeah. But they somehow got me registered as a driver rather than a walker. And it wasn't until like 4 days ago when I said, how come I'm not getting any calls?
Oh,
I
I see.
realized the mistake. So I like missed the whole the whole
Oh,
season
I
when they had
see.
hundreds of turtles coming in. But anyway,
I see. Yeah.
it is what it is. And I have to be more careful and not like say, okay, I'll just climb over these rocks and check down in here, just forget that.
Right, right.
I have to start acting my age.
Well, at 2 a.m., right?
Yeah. Well, that wasn't a problem. It was just thinking I had to, do more than I really did. So
Yeah.
anyway. So it says 7 participants. Where are they all? They're not, okay. Oh, they're all in the waiting room. Boop, boop. Usually I get a little notice saying in the waiting room, but I didn't.
All right. Well, I'm going to open my other screen and start getting ready for notes.
Okay, sounds good. Hi there, everybody. Sorry I didn't let you in right away. I was waiting for a little pop-up saying admit, but it didn't pop up.
No problem.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So hopefully everybody's in now. Yes. So I think we can probably get started. Hi there, Carrie and Mike. Nice to see you.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey
Yes. So why don't we start very quickly with introductions. This is the December 7th, 2021 Wellfleet Recycling Committee meeting. I'm Christine Shreves, co-chair with Lydia. Can everyone just go around real quick and say your names?
Lydia Vivante.
Anybody else?
Dave Kraus. Chris Wisniewski.
And Nancy, yeah.
Nancy nudged me. Sorry.
Okay. And we have guests, Mike Sakali from the transfer station and Carrie Purcell from Mass Step and Barnstable County Extension. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
So let's jump in. Does anybody have any announcements?
I went to the swap shop this morning and it was looking amazing, very well organized and clean, and I was impressed.
Wonderful. So we had a response from Jay to our query about whether we should petition for funds for a swap shop. So maybe we can start with Mike from the transfer station. Nice to see you, Mike.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me. Yeah,
Of course.
I'm all for getting funding for the swap shop, however is possible. I think right now we're trying to wait and have a study done on this place before we put any permanent structures up.
Hmm.
And as with everything else, that's what's being held up.
Right.
I'm all for a new swap shop.
Yeah. So the email, let me just read into the record the email from, whoops, I'm going to have to screen share here because I didn't print it. Well, actually, let me, rather than doing that, because it's not still up and I don't want to spend a lot of time. The response from Jay to an email that we sent asking if, let me just admit, Jane, if there was any way that we could, if we had funding through a petitioned article, whether there would be time in fiscal year 23 to do the engineering study and then still have time to expend those funds. So it sounded like in Jay's email, he reiterated that he wanted to complete the study.
Mhm.
I just got, yeah, okay. I just got a notice saying that I'd been checked out, but I guess that was somebody else. Jane is in, I think, but muted. Anyway, so what Jay was suggesting was that he'd gone back through the records of the last 5 years and seen that there was some question when a new swap shop was mentioned as to the historical value, not value, but the historical nature of the swap shop and not wanting to get rid of it. And I think that was something that Harriet Gorman had voiced at a meeting several years ago when we were discussing the swap shop. So Mike, anyway, so Jay just suggested that we have the building inspector looked at it and determine what would need to be done or whether it's salvageable or what we need to do to make it safe in the interim. So Mike, why don't you go ahead?
I mean, that sounds great to me. I think from where I sit, I'm just trying to, what we have at this transfer station is space, which some other transfer stations don't have. And we have a lot of, probably some new diversion for waste coming in the next few years, just with the nature of products and things. So I want to try to position us to be able to accept that or, manage it somehow. So to have the study done would maybe give us an idea of where we should go, what direction we should head, and maybe change the layout of the transfer station somewhat. So the idea of putting up a new building right now, we had that equipment building on the books before the pandemic, and the swap shop was on the books before the pandemic, and that all got pushed aside. So now we're kind of like just taking a step back and looking at our facility and trying to create a long-term plan for what we want to do.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we can, I guess, talk about later in the meeting about whether, how we want to proceed. So, I guess the question still is within the fiscal year 23, I guess you have no idea when the engineering would start, how long it would take, or whether there would be any time to expend funds for a new building.
I would imagine we're also going to have to get all the quotes that we had previously when we were looking at building a new swap shop, I'm sure are going to be completely different now. And so
Yeah.
we're going to have to relook at that.
Right. And I guess might the type of building be affected by this engineering study, or is it more?
I don't think so. I think it's mainly if we're going to build a new swap shop, where's the best place to put it given the site? That's really the question.
Right. You had gotten an estimate previously?
Yeah, I mean, this is now years ago, like before the pandemic. I don't quote me on this because this is off the top of my head, but I believe we had something like $60,000 And, we were getting quotes from buildings. We were looking at different types of doors and windows. We kind of had an
Mhm.
idea where we wanted to put it. I think, come to think of it, I think that was January of 2020. So
Okay,
kind of a blur at this point. And
yeah,
all of those figures are void. I mean,
Right.
the costs have gone through the roof.
yeah. Anything else that you want to report on, Mike?
I can give you some good news. We got 19 RDP points. And I don't know if maybe Carrie has this information. I haven't seen how many points the other Cape towns have got. I'm always, in a bit of competition to try to get the most as possible. But that netted us $11,400 from the RDP program.
And that's a recycling dividends program run by
Yeah,
the.
so those points based on the different programs that we have here, like food waste and paint recycling and mattress recycling, pay as you throw, those are all worth certain amounts of points with the DEP. Those points have a value attached to them based on your population. So we got $11,400 from that program, and that money can be used to further our recycling programs. And what we normally do with it is buy new recycling containers.
Was that a part of the announcement that Janet Reinhardt of the Select Board made about Wellfleet being 7th in the state in recycling, like 7th best?
I emailed her. I haven't heard back. I assume that's what that was. I think the newspaper may have put all of the dollar amounts in, but again, those dollar amounts are based on your population. So I think Wellfleet's dollar amount was $600 a point. I mean, if we had 19 points in the city of Boston, we'd be getting a lot more money. So I don't know where we rank in the state. Probably not close to the top amount of money awarded, but I'm just trying to get us as many points as possible. That means we do as many programs as possible.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know off the top of my head, and I usually do some sort of spreadsheet. I just haven't done it yet. So as soon as I know, but I know between you, Brewster, and Chatham, you're usually the top 3. So I will go back and take a peek at that. And
Thank you.
again, to Mike's point, it's not top 3 as far as much money you get, but it's the points, because it's the point value is worth how many people are being served at the transfer station, i.e. they look at the number of stickers that are sold, and it's first household stickers, not second stickers, and not recycling only. They look at how many people buy that annual sticker.
Right. Okay, anything else, Mike, that,
Just one more quick one. I did put the holiday light recycling bucket out. So if you have holiday lights, there's a blue bucket next to the electronics stable that you can put them in.
sounds good. Anybody have any other questions for Mike?
You said it was a blue bucket, Mike?
Yeah, it's a blue plastic toter, and there's a sign that says holiday light recycling. It's right next to the electronics table.
Okay.
And what they do is they strip the wires, isn't that right? And they collect the copper, which has value, and the
Mhm.
other metals.
Yep.
Great.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, Mike.
Thank you all. Nice to see you all.
It's your
Have a nice
it's your
holiday
day
if I
off,
don't
I
see
can
you.
see. It's your weekend, right?
It will be tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like this color, but I don't wear it on my days off when I can help it. Take care, everyone.
Take
Okay.
care.
Bye.
Okay, Carol, do you have anything to report on Energy and Climate Action Committee?
I hope people saw in the newspaper that we have received a grant along with, I think, maybe 8 other Cape towns, but Wellfleet is the lead on low-lying roads. And the project will get an engineering study of those roads and what our options are for amelioration and accommodation for rising sea levels. There is a workshop at 4:00 today to have people talk about those roads and it'll end up choosing the two that are going to get the engineering study out of half a dozen or so
Mm.
choices in town. So if you can come, it would be great, because we really want public feedback about which roads are being analyzed.
I wonder if on Main Street, you know, the very low-lying part before you get to School Street. I mean, yeah, not School Street, Long Pond Road. You know how it's right by the Salty Duck Pottery, the Duck Creek area there. It's very low-lying across from the Wagner Inn. That seems like a very low-lying area, and I wonder if that's already been covered, a study for that, with the sidewalk plans and all the things that the town is doing to make that more pedestrian friendly. That seems like an
I
obvious.
don't know about that. I mean, Main Street is on the list, and I
Mhm.
assume that's the portion.
Mhm, okay.
Yeah, with the very high tides in recent days, it looks really close to the road.
And it's access to the town center, so
Okay.
it's pretty important.
Build a bridge, I guess.
Congratulations on getting that grant.
Pardon?
Congratulations on getting that grant.
Thank you. I think we pushed the Cape Cod Commission into doing that,
Mhm.
which was it's a good feeling that
Mhm.
something is happening.
Yes, driving change. It's wonderful. And nothing on the solar panels?
Not that I know of. I mean, it's supposed to be imminent, but
Right. Okay, thank you, Carol. Carrie, do you have anything that you would like to share?
Well, I mean, like, there's not, so the grants did come out, like Mike said, Wellfleet, it's over $11,000. We're working on the new grant programs for 2022. The Holiday Strand Lights is out. Wellfleet is actually not participating with AmeriCorps to pick them up. They're actually going to just keep the lights and put them in with scrap because there is a value to them. So I had 3 towns say that they're going to keep their Christmas lights. I mean, they're collecting it and they're collecting it separately. So they're part of that recycling program. They're just not doing it in partnership with AmeriCorps. So they're not listed per se as one of the towns participating, even though they are. We are looking at the boat shrink wrap recycling program, which Mike generously always sets aside some space at the transfer station for every year. And we're looking at the latex paint recycling program again. So all of those things will be coming up the pipeline, but other than, you know, grants are going to start coming around the corner, I think that's pretty much the short of the updates.
Is there any news on the processed glass aggregate, all the bottles that are being collected and made into glass gravel?
Yeah, so I believe, and I haven't checked with Chad, but there is a new vendor in town, and they reached out to different municipalities, and I think Chad agreed to allow them to come and pick up because it's clean glass, and it would be taken into, it's either Marlboro or Middleborough. It's called the Strategic Materials. They used to take our glass in Franklin before they shut down in 2018 suddenly. So then they would collect it there, and then it would be trucked to Connecticut, and then it would be turned into cullet, which then goes back into glass. So it's more of that full circle recycling rather than crushing it and using it as a highway construction, you know, surface aggregate for, you know, construction purposes. So I believe Strategic came and picked up a few loads from them. I wouldn't say 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Doesn't mean they're going to continue to do that. I know the towns have to have contracts with NRRA. They have to be members to be able to allow to use this program through the town of Dennis, because they do send their vendor to come down and crush it from New Hampshire. So Dennis now has a couple of options. The other thing that I heard was that he sold some loads to Robert B. Auer, which is a huge construction company here that does a lot of municipal and state highway and construction projects that way, like drainage, fill, sewer, things like that. So Robert B. Auer might actually be putting some of that into our construction somewhere. So So they have options, which is more than when they started in 2019, where it was like, what are we going to do with it? Will we have enough to actually use it? And it looks like there had been some interest, whether it was, being crushed here and then used and purchased by local contractors, or if he sent it for, a per tonnage fee to strategic so that it can be turned into cullet and then back into glass again.
So is Dennis DPW making decisions about, are they actually getting any money for it, or?
Not really. I don't think they're losing anything, but it was never meant to be sort of a profit. It was meant to be sort of a place based on the fact that DEP had this sort of crisis in 2018, and Chad always wanted to do glass aggregate and crushed glass. So this was like a big opening because DEP wasn't really interested, because again, they want to do the best management practice and not have to get a BUD, which is a beneficial use determination. So when the markets exist to turn glass back into glass, that's the first best thing to do. So when he wanted to do the second next best thing, which was to crush it and use it as aggregate, DEP wasn't interested. But when the markets crashed for it, then that became the current first best use. So that's when they applied for the BUD, the beneficial use determination, to say this isn't the closed economy of glass to glass, but it's the next best thing. And it's been in place with the town of Dennis since, probably late 2018, early 2019, when the program was implemented.
Okay, so they have options. That's good.
Yep. So the options have definitely sort of widened since that particular point.
I read somewhere that there was a glass shortage, beverage bottle glass.
I'd probably say maybe not wine per se, because if you look at the pictures, it's like all wine and vodka and everything. But in the beer industry, there's a lot of aluminum. So you don't see as many glass bottles when it comes to like breweries and microbrews and the beer industry. So I wouldn't call it a shortage, but you're seeing less and less glass in that particular beverage option, I guess you should say. But you still see a lot of glass, like the vodkas and the rums and the wine and things like that. Even though there are plastic alternatives to glass, like when you go buy, like a bottle of vodka, you can get it in plastic, I guess. And then wine has that boxed wine, the big thing, but that has the plastic bag in the center as well. So I think people tend to choose glass over those two options, but maybe people just choose whatever is the least expensive. I don't know. So, but yeah, in the beer industry, you're seeing more and more aluminum being used.
Okay, thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome.
Next thing on the agenda is the Public Works refill stations progress. There is none. DPW has put 20,000 into their budget for fiscal year 23 to fund either different refill stations than the ones we've already identified, or augment, or, we haven't figured out exactly what yet. But in any case, I guess we're kind of on hold until that happens, unless we find either some funds or a volunteer to to install the water station that we've already paid for DPW. I haven't approached DPW yet, or I don't know if Lydia has, about installing it somewhere else, but of course now it's winter, so, but we can certainly start talking about finding an alternate location for it. Anybody have anything else on refill stations? Swap shop building. So how do we want to proceed? Any thoughts?
I think that study sounds good, and figuring out a location for it. And yeah.
Should we have the, well, I guess one thing we can do is ask, you used to be on historical commission for many, many years, Lydia. I mean, is there,
I don't know.
I don't think it's historical value, more sentimental, or what do you think?
That's true. I think it's more sentimental amongst the people that like it as is. But I think there's some flexibility there. I don't really know. I don't want to speak for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's especially if the town determines that agrees that it's not really a safe place, and maybe there's something that could be done with the old building to repurpose it somewhere else, or I don't know, it's already had 2 lives,
Yeah,
having moved from Cove Road originally. And, I think it's a good idea to put it out there, and this would be a town meeting vote anyway, a new building, so people will be able to share their opinions at that time as well.
yeah. So, I mean, I guess the question is, do we want to go ahead, even though the DPW is saying they don't want to do it this year because they want to do their engineering study first?
Well, I
Or
think,
go ahead with the petition.
yeah. You could have a petition that says something like, we fully support a new swap shop pending this study. And I don't know if it would, could you, because the estimates for the building costs have changed,
Mhm.
you don't really know how much to ask for.
Right.
I think Roland, who's the swap shop coordinator, Roland Blair had looked into prefab buildings and things that were kind of available secondhand. I don't know if the town wants to go that route, but it seems like we can't really put the cart before the horse, because the study sounds like that's kind of a first step.
Right.
And the DPW certainly, wants to have a new building and
Mhm.
I have a thought I'd like to share, well, 2, I guess. First of all, if we put it off a bit later, we know that materials are still at a very high price right now. And maybe within a year there won't be. And also, I don't know if there's been any discussion on, as far as repurposing the building, repurposing the lumber that's in the building, whatever part of it can be reused. It's another thought that I have. Has
Mhm.
anyone discussed that?
not that I know of, but it's a good idea. I think that people have said that the wood is, I think the building was built in the 20s, so it's, quality materials, the parts of it that are in good condition.
Yeah, there might be some,
Mhm.
main beams and things like that, and the DPW wants to do something first, which
A study for the-
investigates.
Yes, they,
Yeah,
Jay has put in, I think it's 50,000 for an engineering study to look at allocation of the space and the safe distribution of, places, so that right now is kind of a problem with the swap shop current location with lots of cars and
mhm.
safe navigation of the site. And also looking at future waste diversion measures. He mentioned food waste. So hopefully we can, hopefully they'll consider various food waste options in the future. What Nantucket has done, don't they have the digester, Lydia?
We've had that for since, I think, at least 2000. Yeah,
Right,
an anaerobic digester.
yeah. And that
Um,
doesn't have an odor problem, does it?
Not that I've heard
Not
of.
like opened windrows.
No.
Anyway,
One thing we might think about is we want to make sure that we get a new swap shop, or we get if for some reason the building inspector feels that the current building is not safe enough, is there a way we can get a temporary building to use in the interim?
mhm.
Did I hear you say correctly, am I hearing correctly, they put in 50,000
I think it was
to
60.
investigate? Did I hear that
Oh.
right?
I think you did.
No. I think 60 was what they set aside for the new swap shop.
Oh,
That was,
Uh,
that
I
was
think you're
what
right,
I
Lydia.
thought yeah, I
Mike
have to go
said
back and
that-
look at emails. I thought it was,
for the
50, but
research.
Mike said
Yeah.
something like, don't quote me because it's on the top of my head. But I think
Right.
he said 60 was
Oh, that was about the swap shop building, but the engineering study, yes, is,
Be different.
Oh, okay, so that much, okay, thank you.
I can't, I think it might have been in the minutes of previous meetings, how much she put
Mhm,
into it. I have it in an email, so.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't. I remember reading it, but I didn't hold the figure in my mind, and when I
I
heard
know.
you say 50, I wasn't sure, yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
okay, well, after the holidays, I can reach out to the building inspector if we still have one at that point. They come and go so quickly. I think we've got somebody at the moment. And find out whether he can take a look at it. And I guess the other question is, should we talk to, I don't know how long Charlie's going to be around, our interim
I don't
town
think anybody
administrator.
knows.
But we could try to find out from him what some options are to make sure that there's money for it in
Mhm.
fiscal year 24. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's on their minds, and certainly on our minds.
Right.
We just take it step by step. I think the building inspector, that's the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Then when is the warrant? When town meeting would be in the spring, I guess?
Yeah,
April, June, May, June.
I think we're always behind the curve. So, getting something done.
Yeah. Well, we might draft some
January.
articles, and just in case they're needed, could do something like that. So we'd be ready if we need to move on it. They're different from I guess an article is brought forward by a department, and the petitioned article is brought forward by community members.
Yeah. And I guess what we've done in the past is, as citizens, is that, well,
No, I
we
think
haven't done anything with money attached to it. So I don't know if we as a committee can, or do we go to the select board with our opinion and suggestion or recommendation about
Yeah.
expenditures? I'm fuzzy on all that, so
me too.
I can send something to the interim DPW. I tried looking in, open town meetings and different types of petitions and stuff online, but I didn't find anything relevant. If anybody else knows anything, send it my way.
Jennifer Conjo might be able to help as the town clerk.
Yeah, I reached out to her initially, and she did explain about the two different types of warrant articles. One being as a committee, and the other being citizens, just a citizen petition. But I don't know what that means, because we're not a department, we're an advisory committee. Whether we can, or what we can do, anyway. So I'll put that on my January list of things. If anybody has any information or research or whatever, feel free to jump in.
Christine,
Yes.
I am going to have to sign off now. I've caught notes up to this point. If anybody could volunteer to jot things down and send them to me from this point beyond, I'll put them all together.
Yeah, we can always look at the recording too. I don't know if the recordings have been posted. I haven't.
Oh, okay, that's true. Yes. Yeah. I will look at the recording and I will put that down.
That would be wonderful. Thank you, Nancy.
And I
Thank you.
resent the updated minutes.
Yes,
If you are going to approve those or not.
yes, we'll go ahead and do
Okay.
that. And we have enough people, for quorum, so we're good. Yeah, thank you for
right.
dialing in on your time away from home.
All right, thank you very much.
Take care.
Nancy, the workshop that I mentioned is not today, it's tomorrow at 4:00.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I will change that. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Nancy.
Thank you.
So on calendar notes and discovery map, has anybody reached out to Lisa Benson about the discovery map? I looked at it and it has, icons for various different things. And what would be ideal is if we could have her add her icons or just have our QR code that people could scan to look at locations
Mhm.
for the Refill Cape Cod water refill station map.
I think we wrote to her a while back about the cost of having an ad there, or would we be able to just place,
Did you write to her?
yeah.
Okay.
if
Would you
it's,
be willing to follow up with her? And
Sure.
okay.
I think we both wrote to her in, let's see, September,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Anyway, yes, I will.
Okay, great. So as far as the calendar notes, I think I have those to take a look at. Those are the meeting minutes, but let me just get the calendar.
Are those in the Google Drive now, or?
They are, yeah. It's where you put them in our Wellfleet Recycling Committee.
Oh, there's the RC annual calendar. We could put it, maybe screen share it if there's
Yeah.
time.
That's what I'm just doing.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is being shared yet.
I don't see it yet.
Okay. Resume share, it says. Oh, and then it goes away because it's on a different desktop. There it is. Okay, I guess I have to stop the share and then start the share again. Choose that desktop.
Are you just looking at the November 2nd meeting? Those minutes?
Well, what I was looking for was the something we have on our Google Drive. Here it is.
Oh, okay. Because I was
Okay.
like, I saw your screen and it was showing the November 2nd meeting.
Exactly, yeah. So this
Okay.
is, am I sharing it now? RC seasonal?
Yes.
Okay. So where we are now is in, I guess, winter. Was there anything in fall? So I added in here, the Wix domain registration is in October and the website premium plan subscription is September. Those we both paid for. Discovery maps add due is an item. I don't think we're planning on doing any mailings given the cost of mailings in the past. Any thoughts on that? This is to put, recycling tips or some kind of outreach into property tax and excise tax mailings. But last time we tried that, it was like $500, $400 or $500 that we'd have to pay.
Yeah.
How many sheets of paper was that? I mean, how much copy were we considering when it was that price?
It was just the the envelope sized card. And, we just recently got them. I have all the things that were put in there, but each one of those, they have a company that does it now. So we can't like print them ourselves and give them to somebody. It's all done outsourced. And
Oh, that's a shame,
think
yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah. Because we had designed something and tried to get it in. And then we finally got the cost estimate and it was exorbitant.
Yeah.
So
that's
I
a
don't know if
shame.
we should take those out, but in any case.
Yeah.
And then community preservation applications due, that's Lydia, you usually do something or sometimes do something.
Well, I think that's because, how was that? Weren't some towns using community preservation funds to buy refill stations? Or
Oh,
under the recreation and open
yes, I think
space?
that's what Orleans did. Mhm.
Yeah, so maybe that's why that's in there.
Okay,
Anyway, we missed that for this year because the deadline was October unless they've changed something.
oh, okay.
The holiday
So
recycling.
did I say usually October for next year?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can
Okay.
check to see what the date is for community preservation. It
Okay.
used to be November.
Right. And West Spaghetti Dinner, we haven't heard anything. So budget request increase. So that's something that we should talk a little bit about, warrant articles. The annual report is due in January. Lydia and I usually work on that.
Let's make sure that they didn't change it. I thought maybe it was February 1st this time, because she did send an email recently.
Yeah, it is February. I put down January, just meaning we need to work on it in January.
Okay.
So I'll say
Do Feb 1 or
Feb
something.
1, yeah. And Lydia, you had put the entertainment applications in here. Would that be for some
That-
outreach materials, mailing?
Yeah, that would be a much smaller mailing. And I think that mailing is done by the town, they don't outsource that. So that's maybe
Okay.
a place where we could write to some of the businesses in town with
Yeah,
recycling tips or news or something like that. We could ask if they would be amenable to including it in their mailing.
that would be great.
I think that's because I'm a volunteer at the AIM Thrift Shop, and we applied for our license recently. We haven't gotten the business license yet. That's not an entertainment license, so I think that's
Oh,
different.
okay.
But it could go out to businesses. Maybe we can talk about asking, requesting that we slip a piece of paper in there. It would have to get approved by the select board, I think, just like with the tax mailings.
So do you know at all about timing? So you've already applied for the license, but not
Yes,
received
that's a
it?
regular business license.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's different from an entertainment license, but I can ask about that.
Okay, that'd be great. And then, yeah, I don't think we need to go through spring at this point, but in any case, if anybody has anything else to add, that's the calendar. So I'll stop sharing and so let's see, where are we? Finally, onto waste reduction. There aren't any local events at this point. That anybody have anything that they know of going on?
We're doing a really big holiday fair this Saturday, the 11th, in the town hall parking lot. The PTA and others, and then the chamber's doing a tree lighting and sing along in the evening.
So the holiday fair is town businesses or?
I think it's a fundraiser for the PTA, but I think there's also some vendors.
Oh, for the PTA, did you say?
Yeah, to raise money for the school, Wellfleet
Oh.
Elementary School.
Okay. And that's this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's supposed to rain, so I'm hoping it's not going to do that.
Okay, under plastic reduction initiatives, the plastic water bottle ban refill Cape Cod. I did not do the QR code, but I will. And if you can find something out from Lisa. I did add in the National Seashore refill stations into the map. That the Seashore Planner, so Lauren
McKean.
Lauren, yes. And what's her last name, McKean?
Screen up so they can't see.
And she said that they've just installed like 4 more at Marconi and various other places. They're doing a great job. I told them how jealous we were as a municipality. Reduce agriculture plastics grant. There was an email from Tom, Lydia.
Yeah, he said that, I think he's been in touch with them at the DEP, but there hasn't been any news yet.
Okay. Didn't he say something about they wanted some additional information for something?
Some of the shellfish people. Yes.
And he wanted to talk?
Maybe next month he can join us.
Okay. Next thing is NIPS ban, universal redemption law, bottle bill expansion.
Yeah, there was a meeting on the bottle bill expansion. I wasn't able to participate, so I'm gonna find out more. Maybe there's a recording that I can send around. If there's a link, I'll do that.
And that was that was Conservation Law Foundation trying to get it out of committee. Is that right?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
that group, and then I think there's also MassPerg, Public Interest Research Group is trying to do something similar.
Mhm.
So there's some, well, we're trying to get it going again.
Okay. Packaging reusable container survey. Anything on that, Lydia?
Well, it's kind of the wind was taken out of my sails a bit because they said it seemed like it would be too much work to do that at the senior center, at the adult community centers, what it's called. So I think try again, you know, try and have a conversation about it at least. And I think it's part of the town's policy to try and reduce, you know, plastic waste, and maybe we can. So maybe there's a work on that some more.
Maybe they need a volunteer to handle the washing. Is it daily? I mean, is this for Meals on Wheels or is this just Marianne's Cafe?
Meals on Wheels is different.
Right.
I don't know if there's an actual Meals on Wheels in town. There might be. This is for the Marianne's Cafe,
Right.
and they have it to go.
Mhm.
To go.
Well, Meals on Wheels uses the COA kitchen for prep.
Oh,
I wonder if that's a possibility to, I don't know, if that's a nonprofit or how that's organized, or if it's run by the town. But anyway, okay. Last thing, community cutlery, library of things. We haven't had any requests. Lydia borrowed some. Did you borrow something for
I
things?
did. Yeah, I borrowed napkins and silverware and a green bucket, and they all were they loved it. It was at Thanksgiving, and they asked me to get some for Christmas. So I'm going to do that as well. I think Nancy picked up some really nice stemware at the swap shop.
She said that, yeah, she has it in her basement, which is great. We did have a call from someone. There was going to be a memorial service for a resident who had died in Washington State, and they needed like 72 wine glasses. And I told them that we only had like 60 and they were going to look at other options. But if we have more, that's great for the future.
Yeah, they're kind of like champagne flutes. They're elongated, but they, you know, that will work for anything.
Okay, great.
Christine, remember I said I'd be willing to help photograph things? If
Yeah.
Let me
I
know.
was thinking about that the other day, that maybe we should, first thing is I have to talk to Naomi about how they would be able to use whatever we do. And then, or somebody would need to talk with her to see what the next step is and whether they could include photos in their catalog, because they would be putting all the items, the kitted items, into their catalog so that the librarians could check things out.
Right.
But in any case, having, you know, even if we just have our own catalog that we can send people or put on our website, it would be great to have photographs.
It would be.
So maybe we could set up some times when, if you're willing to come in, and we can take one type of thing at a time, glasses, plates, utensils.
There are some pictures up there now, just so you know.
Yes, we
Those
do
that
have
haven't
a
visited,
picture.
there are some up there.
Yeah.
But not of everything, that's for sure.
Right. Maybe after the holidays?
Yeah,
We could set up some times? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you done with your big project? You had a deadline last fall.
I'm done with what I can do with it.
Okay.
I was going to mention something about printing paper. So I don't know if all of you know, but I produce books, and right now I have books out at various printers, and the printers can't get paper.
Oh,
there's not paper to print books. And I've read a lot of different articles on why, and someone said a lot of the paper products are going to creating cardboard boxes because everyone's ordering everything online,
wow.
which is really getting to me because I make archival family books, and every time I see an Amazon box now, it's just killing me.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So my projects are out of my hands and someone else's, and yes,
Mhm.
every time.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Very much so.
Okay, so I'm gonna put on for January things, start taking photos for community cutlery. So outreach materials, website, social media posts.
Oh, I printed this, which is our holiday recycling guide, and I put it on the website. And I also, I can print a bunch of these, like, I don't know, a dozen or something, and put them out at a few places. Maybe the food pantry would take some. And the adult community center, the library, maybe town hall. Town hall is open, and then I can put one in the window at the liquor store, which I think is, and the post office.
Mhm.
Um,
Do we want to do an email blast with it, or
yeah, we could do
for
that.
community cutlery, or
Yeah, that's a nice idea, actually, for the holidays of, or the new year.
yeah?
Another thing is I wrote to a printer in Orleans, and they've printed signs for us on plastic in the past. It's a rigid plastic about an 1/8 or a 1/4 inch thick that really lasts a long time, and it can be used outdoors. So I asked him about the cost of that and also what it costs to print on aluminum. The aluminum you could recycle as well one day.
And that would be to put up at the transfer station, or where?
Yeah, at the transfer station, it could be 16 by 20 or something, larger than a page size.
Okay. Have you sent that out to the committee? The
Yeah.
holiday guide? Okay, great.
Last month.
Right. Okay.
And I plan to be using some of those ideas for Instagram for this,
Great.
Okay.
this
Good.
coming month.
Thanks.
But community cutlery, that would be a good post for the holidays also.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, I'm going to be on for 2 to 3 weeks from the 20th on.
Mhm.
But if you're interested in photographing anything, I could, the next week, is it week? 2 weeks. We could meet there and find some things that, if you want to
Yeah.
take some pictures of it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Or Lydia, yeah, or if Lydia is available.
Mhm.
Just let me know.
Okay.
And as Lydia said, there's a few pictures on the website that we have taken.
Okay.
Okay, website, social media. Do you have anything, Olivia?
No, I don't have any updates.
So after we took down the Wellfleet refill stuff,
Yeah,
I was looking for the more thing to go to additional menu items, and it may have just been me, but I didn't see it. But you were on it recently, Lydia, so
Yeah,
I haven't checked again since then, but
okay, have a look.
okay.
Let me.
It
So the
could be
more
that
was missing?
Hmm?
The more was missing? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't see the more when and that could have just been me.
I'm sure it's, you're right.
So Chamber of Commerce newsletter. Anybody have anything on that? I
No,
guess Nancy and Chris had worked on something to send. I don't think they did, just a newsletter, because they were sending out so many things that then they
Right.
oftentimes don't do a newsletter. So. Holiday recycling guide we talked about. So if you want to do some printing, we definitely have funds available. We've only spent about $200 of our budget of $1,500.
and that's good through the fiscal year, right? So July?
Yeah.
But we should
End of
spend
June.
end of June. So yeah, we should spend some on what other things? Maybe
Yeah, and if
Think
anybody
about-
has ideas for expenditures, I we'll see if we have time for accounting after this, but and textile recycling flyer, anything on that?
Well, I wrote to Hillary to see if the AmeriCorps volunteer was able to do any illustrations. I haven't heard back.
Mhm,
So I think
Okay.
it's probably, I want to get the holiday guide out there,
mhm.
and then maybe beyond of next month, work on getting the textile information out there.
Okay,
And Jaya was able to ask Audubon about whether they needed the textiles, towels, things like that. And I think
They
he said,
just-
no,
they do need
just-
towels now.
they do
They
need
just sent
them.
out an
They,
email. just
they need
before
them
that.
now? Okay, I didn't ask them again. I know
Yeah,
they're,
they
the
just don't have,
turtle, Yeah.
It changes. They keep sending out emails. They just sent
Yeah.
them before this and they said they need
good.
boxes and towels, right?
yeah,
right
they
now.
What
they
was
needed
that first one?
boxes, they got a bunch, but they need towels now.
Okay, yeah. The turtle people are being called out now.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
not getting that many yet, but yeah, they're getting ready.
No,
Thank
they
you
have,
all for updating me.
it's been in full swing. They're, and the
Yeah,
Kemp, I'm a walker, a patroller, and the Kemp Ridley turtle season is just about over and there's huge numbers. If anyone's interested, I can forward their last count. But
Yeah,
Wellfleet's been
Yeah,
like 183 turtles or so.
What was that? You said there were two things. One thing, towels, but then what was the first thing that's not needed?
Banana
Banana.
boxes.
Banana box. Okay.
Banana boxes. And they just said they need them again today.
Oh, they did.
They
Okay.
did, yeah. And we have some in our car. We got them when they said they needed them last time, then they said they didn't, so I'm gonna go
Oh.
bring them today.
Oh, okay. I have towels to bring. I'll drop off tomorrow. Okay.
It is timely then to do something, get out the word on the textile thing.
Right.
Okay.
The last thing we had to check in on outreach materials was compost in the news. Anybody have anything?
No.
And under future concerns, the town report is due February 1st. So the minutes, let's take a look at those. I will share them. So here they are. I did some updates to it and I don't know if there were any others. Have people had a chance to look at it and willing to vote?
I scanned it and I didn't see, nothing caught my eye in particular, so.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the November minutes?
Well, I would,
I'll second. Olivia.
Okay, and let me get back to my screen so that I can see. So I'll raise your hand to approve the minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. And accounting report. So they're not producing regular accounting reports, but I did submit receipts for things that I purchased for reimbursement. And Lydia, I didn't see anywhere that you had submitted the domain fee, which you paid for.
Okay.
So I downloaded a receipt for that. And if you want, I can do what I did with the ones that I paid for, which is just bring them over and put them in the inbox, but you have to write the account number for the operating account on it.
That would be super helpful if you could do that.
Yeah, I'll
Or
take
if you
care
want
of
me
that.
to, just let me know.
No, I can do it.
Okay, thanks.
So submit Wix, domain. Any correspondence? We still have 2 alternate openings. The one thing we haven't talked about is whether we want to request any increase in funding, but given that we have now 1,500 a year, I need to verify that we'll have 1,500 next year. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'll try with whoever the accountant is at the moment, or the interim accountants. And perhaps we should just go with that. Any thoughts, anybody?
I think that's good.
Okay. Our next meeting is on January 1st, January 4th, 2022. Anything else that anybody would like to share? If
Yeah, I
not,
want to tell Chris, Alet gave me a copy of her book and I saw your name. I said, yeah, I really like that book.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Great.
The one
I
on
sure
my.
did.
So
One
the
of my-
one, sometime a clear light.
Oh,
Her
yes, I like the
recent-
book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that came out really nice.
Really good, yeah. It's good to see your name there.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks. And this Saturday is Yule for Fuel, the second Yule for Fuel at what? Lots of different acts playing, including me.
Good. Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's a reason to go.
it's good.
where is that, Chris?
It's at what?
Where is it?
What? Oh, it's
Fuel for Fuel.
at what?
What is it?
What? Oh, what is it? What is it? It's a fundraiser for raising money for fuel assistance for the Outer Cape.
Mhm.
And it's a group of musicians and spoken word artists who all perform little, it's sort of like a variety show. Everyone comes on for brief little things,
Mhm.
and all the money goes towards the fuel assistance program.
And where will that be held?
At what?
At what?
Oh, at what?
At what?
What theater? What theater?
Who's on first?
Okay, exactly. All righty, thank you all. It was nice to see everybody. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I will.
Okay,
All
Second.
those in favor?
second. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Happy holidays. everyone.
holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Happy and safe, happy and safe.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.